Welcome back, guys. Today it's raining. I was going to be out shooting this rifle right here. Got to finish it up for a customer, get some drop validation for it, print up some drop charts, and it's ready to send out. But what I'm going to talk with you about today is 3 things that if I was doing a custom load for a rifle that I would make sure that my rifle is doing. Or if you're having somebody do a custom load for you, make sure that they understand these things and that they're doing this for you as well. There's a lot of manufacturers out there who, make rifles, and they're selling their rifles with custom loads, or so they say they are. And I'm finding out that there's some of these companies, they're definitely not doing these 3 things. I'm not going to mention any names, but I make sure that I'm doing these 3 things so that you're going to have a rifle that shoots great for a long time. It's not going to shoot, it's not just going to shoot great for the first 50 or 100 rounds. And if you've ever had a rifle or know of somebody who's had a rifle that seemed to shoot really well, but all of a sudden just doesn't shoot that great anymore. I've had this happen to me before I understood this. Shot good for a while. I thought I was on something, and I was, but I didn't really understand everything that I do today. So, 3 things. First of all, has to group really good, which is the number one thing that most companies are focusing on. Half MOA guarantees, those kind of things. So I make sure that we're grouping good, whatever that standard is for you. Kind of the motto and just across the board is 1 MOA. People consider that pretty good, and it's not too bad if you can do that every day. I go for half MOA or better on the systems that I do and set up. And so, great groups. Number 2, the standard deviation numbers, or your average velocities that you're getting from each shot, needs to be preferably 10 feet per second or less from one another. 15 feet per second is acceptable. It depends what kind of ranges you're wanting to shoot. But I'm finding that a lot of ammo that isn't custom developed for every rifle, occasionally they'll have a flyer, and those flyers a lot of times come from inconsistent velocities, where you have a round that might have shot 30 feet or 40 or even 50 feet per second. I've seen it higher difference from the previous shot. While that shot might have fell right in the group that you just shot at 100 yards, or even be really close to 200 yards, at 500 or 800 or 1,000 yards, that starts getting bigger and bigger. At 1,000 yards, it varies from one caliber to the next, obviously on velocities, but on average at 1,000 yards, if you're 30 feet per second difference in velocities, you're probably going to be somewhere around 1 minute of angle difference. So at 1,000 yards, you're going to hit 10 inches high or low, depending was that shot fast or was that shot slow. So that's important to note. So you want good groups, you want numbers that are great, you want that low extreme spread number. And number 3 is you need to know that your seating depth is at a place that it's at a forgiving spot, so that as you're barreled, as you shoot, you start wearing your rifling down, and basically you're seating your bullet deeper and deeper and deeper. And it might take 50 shots, it might take 500 shots. Again, depends on what caliber you're shooting. It's definitely typically going to take more than 50 shots, but if you don't know where your seating depth is, forgiveness falls off. You can be sitting at a spot that only takes 50 shots for you to start losing some accuracy. So you want to make sure that seating depth is seated to where you can get some some of your rifling to erode, some of your rifling to basically get shot out, and you're still going to remain accurate. And the easy way to do that is after you've figured out your powder charge on your load, or whoever's doing it's figured out their powder charge, now you got to do some seating depth test where you're actually moving that bullet out and finding, is it still going to stay, where does that fall off? So let's say you did your seating depth, wherever you did your seating depth, I typically bump it 3 thousandths at a time out. And if I stay accurate 3 thousandths out, I'm gonna bump it again 3 thousandths out. And if I'm keeping my half MOA or my accuracy that I like to see at a 3 thousandths out, then I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go 6 thousandths further. And if I'm staying accurate, I'm gonna do it again. And if I'm staying accurate again, then I'm gonna pick one of those. I might stop there. There's really no sense that you have this. You don't need, you don't need more than 6 or 9 thousandths of seating depth forgiveness there. But if you know you can be out 6 thousandths and you're still accurate, you know that from that 6 thousandth point all the way back to where you just shot from, you know that you can get your rifling to wear 6 thousandths and you're still going to be accurate. And so then I would leave it out there. That's where I would shoot it. And chances are, if you ever lose your accuracy, all you got to do is just bump that seating depth out another 3 thousandths or 6 thousandths or whatever you got to do, just to follow the lands of your rifle and keep that at the same distance. So if you have all three of those things, you can have confidence that your rifle is going to perform. You actually know where your rifle's at. And if you've got, let's say you have 500 rounds through your barrel, especially if you're a hand loader and you do this yourself, you can do a test and bump it to 3 thousandths and see if you're accurate there. And if that's where you're accurate, that'll be your new load. Just start loading there. So those three things will ensure that you're going to have a rifle that's going to shoot for a long time. So whether you do it yourself or whether you buy a rifle with a custom load from somewhere or from myself, make sure that this is being done, and that you're spending your money on something that you know is going to last a long time and a load that's going to be accurate in your rifle for a long time. So just be aware that sometimes when you're buying, again, custom rifles, where people say or companies say that they have a custom load for you, that rifle's shooting a custom load, ask them, are you developing a load specifically for this gun, or is this some ammo that you've just kind of figured out that shoots pretty good on all of our rifles? I've done some testing with this to see. So I do a lot of these setups right here, Sequence Precision, the PH2s. They're great rifles for the money. And I set a lot of them up. I typically do a custom stock. They did start offering some custom stock colors, but I typically put a muzzle brake on them, do some custom colors on them, develop a custom load for it. And I've done a lot of 28 nozzlers. And so it's given me the opportunity to take a load that's worked really good in one 28 and shooting it out of another one to test it to see, can I just feed this rifle the same ammo? Can I feed all these 28 nozzlers the same ammo? Is it going to do those three things every rifle? And I've yet to have a rifle that will do those three things with the exact same load. Now it might shoot the same powder charge, but it has a different seating depth. Or it might have the same seating depth, but it shoots a little different powder charge. So that's my experience. That's what I've seen happen here. So look out for those things if you're doing your own load. Make sure you're doing those three steps, and I think you're going to have success. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time.